Internal or external?
From an external builder. How many meters? I've got to take measurements.
Yeah, put them on. I was trying to work out, it's just this.
Hi guys, you're 2 metres away from people, so when you're talking you can take your mask off. Thank you. Thank you. The review of Antarctic Gateway Strategy and Strategy Action Plan.
Kia ora koutou. Thank you for having us here today. We've had to brave some Antarctic conditions to get here today. The weather's appalling out there. Look, it's our pleasure to present to you today the updated Christchurch Antarctic Gateway Strategy. As you know, this is updated 3 years after the city passed its inaugural Antarctic Gateway Strategy. I want to just acknowledge a number of people who have supported this process. Firstly, of course, David and Sue from the Antarctic office, Adair Broughton, Nick Bryan from the CNZ team, Matt Nichols and the Civic and International team, and Elizabeth Wilson from the strategy team. And also I want to acknowledge Liz Kereru from Ngāi who has supported this process and the updating of the strategy that's before you today. The strategy has been approved by the Christchurch NZ Holdings Limited Board and is presented to you for approval today. And I want to acknowledge Deputy Mayor Andrew Turner and Councillor Mike Davidson, who are, as you know, Councillor Directors on the Christchurch NZ Board. I also want to acknowledge the Mayor and her ongoing role in supporting our gateway status and the formidable commitment that Mayor Dalziel makes in terms of supporting our ongoing relationship with the Antarctic. So the strategy review was conducted and we consulted with a number of people, including mana whenua and 18 entities who are connected with our gateway status. And I'm just going to quickly spend 2 minutes going through some of the key changes that are in the strategy, which is before you today. So fundamentally, the review and consultation found that the strategic direction of the current strategy was appropriate, but there were some opportunities to develop some aspects. Notably, we updated the context section to acknowledge the significance of the Southern Ocean for Ngāi Tahu, and we identified better opportunities to draw on economic activity and economic opportunities that are created by our gateway status. We've updated some of the language within the strategy to acknowledge Council's strategic priorities with respect to acceleration of climate change action and the commitment the Council and City has made to net zero emissions by 2045. We also updated the action plan that accompanies the strategy, and I'm particularly proud of this strategy because it does have a definitive action plan that accompanies it, and it's always important, as we all know, that we not only have the strategy, but we have the actions in which to carry out that strategy. So some of the actions that have been updated is the opportunity to maximise opportunities created by the Scott Basin McMurdo rebuilds and the greater connection with Christchurch and Canterbury businesses to support those rebuild opportunities. The opportunity for more action to increase collaboration on science leadership and climate action, and actions to allow us as a gateway to stay agile so that we remain relevant to the National Antarctic programs who base themselves here and connect with the Antarctic through the Christchurch Gateway. So just to conclude, the strategy in front of you is an important city strategy. We're very proud at Christchurch NZ and the Christchurch Antarctic Office to play a role in supporting the update of this strategy. And we want to acknowledge the city's special relationship with the Antarctic. It is special and unique. It supports our sense of exploration as a people and as a community, and it contributes meaningfully to our economy. We recommend that you do support this strategy today because we must continue to cherish and protect our gateway status, both locally but also nationally on behalf of New Zealand and our relationship with the Antarctic. So, kia ora koutou.
Kia ora, thank you very much. David, did you want to say anything as well?
No, I suppose just supporting what Joanna said. I think most of you are aware, because I've presented a few times here, that the core elements of the strategy remains the same, which is first and foremost welcoming the National Antarctic programs and protecting them, because that's our sort of primary goal that everything else springs out of. So, and then from that, the business opportunities with the Christchurch Antarctic network that's been established and continues to grow, and then some of those public interfacing activities like Days of Ice. So they sort of remain our focus, I suppose, which is really a big part of that implementation plan of the strategy.
And I guess in this COVID environment, keeping Antarctica COVID free, certainly on this side, in the Ross Sea.
Definitely, and we all know that the Antarctic programs have got that mission as well, including Antarctic and New Zealand, who have to quarantine actually themselves before they depart for the ice as well for 2 weeks.
Yeah. I mean, I do want to acknowledge that because I know how much effort the Antarctic Office put in to ensure that we could continue to provide that level of support for the Antarctic programs as they travel to the ice. So really wanted to acknowledge that publicly and thank you for it.
Thank you.
Right, questions? Jimmy Chen and Yanni.
Thank you for the comprehensive report, particularly regarding to the new revised those Antarctica strategy. I have 2 questions. The first one, I just want to know because this strategy also affiliate with some other council or maybe some other key stakeholders strategy. For instance, like a council, we have a release, international relational policy framework. In that kind of the policy framework, consider also some other key stakeholders. But if we review 5.3.3, like 18 key stakeholders or further 38 stakeholders, whether cover all those stakeholders or not. I just want to know. This is the first question.
Yeah, so it was important to us that we liaised with Civic International closely on this work, and that Elizabeth Wilson's involvement in the development of the strategy was also important to make sure that we had clear interface between other city strategies, including the multicultural strategies and Civic International strategy frameworks.
Yes, okay. So at the moment, the sister city committee, whether it's part of 38 stakeholders, we have a consultation with them, like the Christchurch Korean city or USA sister city, or
I'll just need to defer to
Japanese.
Nick
Yes,
Bryan
I
and
just want
Elizabeth
to
to
know
answer
whether
that question specifically.
consultation.
Not the sister cities, no, but we did engage with the embassies and the programs that are currently using the gateway.
Okay, thank you. Okay, second question. Okay,
Yeah.
second question regarding your action plan. That's very good. But I'm only concerned you have first to 3 years, 4 to the 5 or 6 years, etc. But I didn't see the leading agency and the supporting the agencies. How to distinguish each one responsibility. How to working together collaboratively can achieve your goal, the particular all those goals and your priorities. Yes.
Yeah, so it's important that the strategy has longevity over the 3-year period. So we're not able to articulate a weighting within the action plan. That's the role of the Antarctic Office and Civic International as they carry out each piece of work, because obviously it changes for each part of the action plan.
Okay, thank you. That's my question. Thank you.
Thank you, Yanni.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you for the work that you've done on this. I just a similar question to Jimmy's in regards to the action plan, but it's really around the CapEx. In the council report, we're told that there's no CapEx implications under 7 cost to implement. We're just told quite opaque terms that it's delivered by Christchurch and through OPEX funding identified in the LTP. But actually, it would be good to get a sense of what the cost was of the activities and understand the budgets that it's attached in terms of, especially for that action plan. Because I don't get any sense of what budgets have changed or what activities have changed and what the cost is. And I don't get any sense of, if we wanted to do more or if we wanted to do less, what the implications would be in terms of budget. So is there anything in detail you have around the cost of each of the activities and how you're prioritising that spend?
Yeah, so in your letter of expectation to us, you articulated that we needed to maintain our investment into the Antarctic Office for the current SOI period, and we did that. We actually added additional budget into that area, and we've continued to subsidise the Antarctic Office through other areas of activity within Christchurch NZ. We do have a very detailed breakdown for all of the work undertaken by the Antarctic Office, but that's governed by the Christchurch NZ Holdings Board.
A question for council staff. Why would we not explicitly state how much this program strategy was costing in our report? asked to adopt the strategy, but we don't have a sense of what the cost is.
Do you, on that, Elizabeth, are you aware of the cost of the strategy?
Sorry, that's. It's probably not an appropriate question to be putting to Christchurch NZ. It's a organisational
So that's not
issue.
Elizabeth. She's a staff member that wrote it. So my understanding is the work's been funded and you've made a decision about funding it, and now this is just adopting the strategy. And usually, from my experience, when strategies come back for adoption, we don't have a cost of the strategy in the report because you've previously reported it. So you didn't have the cost when the community strategy came and other strategies have come. Okay.
Perhaps I could contribute to this. This is a question of this nature we often get when we're in front of council, and I want to be clear that we're funded to deliver levels of service, and the letter of expectation is the appropriate place to have a conversation around various funding levels. From there, Christchurch NZ Holding Boards allocates the budget in order to deliver the levels of service. So it wouldn't be normal for us to provide a budget breakdown of that to that degree, given we have an independent board.
Adopting some strategies, we would have a cost breakdown of the activities to have a sense of what was funded, what was not funded. And, you know, we would be told this will be considered as part of the LTP development. So, yeah, I mean, okay.
Do you have any trouble meeting your levels of service on the budget that you have been provided?
We just hope they do.
Well,
Yes, they do.
not in a normal environment, in a COVID environment, because of the impact on the Antarctic programs. We've had to divert more resource into retaining the Antarctic programs and managing the MIQ status, as you've outlined.
Yeah.
So it was difficult this year,
Yeah.
but we would communicate clearly if we felt we didn't have enough resource to deliver to the levels of service.
So you've had to dip into other areas in order to keep that level of commitment alive, but that's because things changed and you kind of pivoted to meet the need of the moment. That was directly as a result of COVID.
That's correct. We've had to reevaluate all of our activity because of COVID, including our Antarctic activity. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. I was going to move it myself. I'm moving it and Jimmy's seconding it. Is that all right, Jimmy? Thank you. All right. All right. Any further questions? Any discussion? Jimmy?
First, I'd like to acknowledge, particular Antarctica Centre and the Christchurch NZ for this amendment of the new revised Antarctica strategy. If we review those new revised strategy, we can see they're setting up a goal. It's not only the one agency, can meet all these, achieve those goals. Let's working together as a collaboratively. I'm very happy. Originally, you have a surveys, only the 18 the stakeholders. But now, because of Christchurch is one of 5, the kind of Antarctica gateway, we need more to promote the Christchurch. That can create all the good image and uplift our profile. So more stakeholders working together is most crucial, most important. I'm very happy, like the first 3 years, particularly mention the priority one, establish a gateway leadership group, not only Antarctica Centre, but consider our EV, our national, our local, those partnership working together, because each one, we share our the responsibility. That's most important, So especially at this kind of COVID, the specific situation, and also the council, we already, particular to declare this city is the climate change resilient, those the ecological, the city, Only we working together collectively, we can achieve our common goal. So congratulations, we fully support. Thank you.
You can take your
Thank
mask
you.
off to speak, Jimmy.
I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye. Those opposed say no. That's carried. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right, and now we come to the notice of motion.